websites deteriorate. It's, I feel like this is an aspect that most people aren't aware of. So you build out a brand new website, great UX, backend's great, you have all these plugins and just everything's humming, right? But then over time, they just deteriorate. And Mac's example that he just shared with one of our clients that we did a total website redesign, that's what happened. Their site was probably like 8 years old. And by the time we got to it and they hired us, it was just barely chugging along. It was just, yikes, it was bad. And it was actually a pretty mature business as well. But websites deteriorate, and they're not a set it and forget it asset. It's almost like, think about like taking your car, you buy a brand new car, that car is going to deteriorate unless if you maintain it. If you maintain it, it's going to go 200,000 miles, and that's great. But if you don't maintain it, it's going to have a very short shelf life, and it's not going to do pretty well. So Luke asks, digital products deteriorate in what sense? So Mac, why don't you just kind of elaborate on how websites can deteriorate in performance?
Yep, absolutely. So we kind of alluded to this previously, but it can be so many different things, but we have a few examples here. So let's talk about things like excessive plugins. They can quickly bloat. You end up having competing like race conditions between X plugin and Y plugin, and they're fighting to execute their scripts first. And that contributes to slow load time, but you can also have bloat from having so many things on your website. You could also have outdated technology stacks. So whether you are on like WordPress, for example, if you don't update the WordPress version, it exposes you to security risks, but also everything is moving along so fast. There's always new versions. There's always new hot fixes, new features, et cetera, et cetera. And if you update one thing and not the other, at some point they become incompatible, and you stop receiving, security updates for those older versions as well. There's also things with the database, like database caching and optimization. If you have a really, really, big bloated database, it makes those database queries every time someone requests data, it makes those exponentially slower. So you're going to want to, continuously clean and optimize that. And of course, there's many other things to consider, but the idea here is you want to keep them up to date up front, so you prevent cascading errors down the line, basically.
Yep. And and users are just expecting a faster and faster experience. And these are just some of the many ways websites can deteriorate. There's even more examples out there, but they really need to be maintained. Otherwise, you're going to lose customers in 1 month or 1 year. You're like, I used to get 10 leads a month on my website. I haven't gotten one in a quarter. What's happening here? And you never want to wait until that happens. Luke asked another question, that deterioration, or to your comment, Mac, it's kind of like Flash players too, ? Is that similar?
I think you're referring to Flash player used to be a huge thing. There used to be like Flash games online. It's just like the technology changes so quickly, and it's always changing. It's never slowing down. It's only, more features and pumping them out faster.
Yep, absolutely. And then this is a big one right here. So we talked, Mac, you shared a little bit about outdated plugins, more from a deterioration standpoint, but hackers, they love plugins. 97% of security breaches are exploiting WordPress plugins. A lot of website owners love plugins because they're easy, but explain a little bit more about how this can really expose themselves to some bad stuff.
Yes. So kind of in tandem, if you're not updating your plugins, a lot of them are open source, which means that you or I or anyone could go see exactly what code is in that code base and exactly what version it is. And yeah, like it says, it makes a playground for them where give them enough time and they'll find an exploit. And then all they have to do is find out that your website runs the same version, and boom, they've hacked you.
Yep. And recovering from hacking is not easy and nor fun, and can really impact some business losses. You don't want that to happen. And having someone just like ongoing doing these updates every month, obviously there's always some risk that your site can get hacked, but the instances or the level or the chances of that happen if someone's proactively managing your website, very close to zero. I mean, obviously there's always a tiny, like a tenth of a % chance of anything happening, but that risk goes down significantly.